Okay folks, we're going to have a play with some of these stickers that I've got, and I think they're rather beautiful. Can you see that? Make sure I'm in shot there. Ooh. Yeah, now apparently the backs peel off them. I've seen Claire's Crafty Corner showing how to do that. Now these moulds are, I think, quite nice. They've got like a weird bubbly effect around. I don't know if you can see that. Can you see there's a weird bubbly effect around the edges? Anyway, I thought we'd give them a try, and of course I am testing out still these new materials that were sent to me to test by Just For You online. So, armed with these new cheapo bargain moulds I got from somewhere. I'll put you the links for everything, I can't remember where they're from. And the mirror tile, because this will help for the UV light to reflect up through them, as well as down through them and cure it. And these stickers and my friendly little UV lamp, which is probably just a bit out of shot, but I'll bring that on and show you in a minute. I thought we'd have a go. Now I particularly want to use this one, I think, and that one's rather nice as well, if that'll fit. Will that fit? Again, they're a bit big, some of these are, to fit into these moulds, but let's at least do this one. We'll see how the UV resin fares, doing something a bit more normal to what I often do with UV resin. So here we go. This is the resin that I've got. It's from Just For You online. It is a standard UV fast cure resin, as it says no shrinkage, no yellowing. So we'll see. I'm just going to put a thin layer in first. It's fairly runny, probably a bit runnier than normal at the moment because it's extremely hot here in England. We are having a heat wave. Now I'm going to take the knobby end of one of my stirring sticks. These are just cocktail stirrers, by the way, cheap plastic ones. Again, I'll put the link for you down below. I'm just spreading that around. Now it will start coming away from the mould if I haven't put enough to give it a good coverage, so I might have to put a drop more in. But all I'm doing is just creating, oops, bubble. Just creating an initial base layer to put my little sticker in on. Right, while that's settling then, I'm going to hit it with a UV light, and then I'll be putting the sticker on. So there we go. I think we've got most of the bubbles off. Is this going to cover? A little bit more. The resin then is, those of you who've seen my previous videos using this will see that it is, well, I thought it was a low viscosity because it does seem to be quite runny and it debubbles really easily. But I found that it will dome as well, so it's I think it's quite a nice all-purpose resin. Now I'm going to put my little lamp over it. This little lamp is a nifty little thing. I've got several UV lamps on the go. I'll try and find you the link for this particular one. It's quite handy because it's also got the lights up the sides here, which helps things to cure better and quicker. And as I said, I've sat it on a mirror as well, which does help. Probably still will blast it with the UV from the other side as well for the final cure, but just as a starter, then the mirror trick works really well. Now, I don't need it to cure completely at this stage anyway, so let's get that out of the way. We'll turn it off and we'll see if we can get the back off this sticker. I don't know if you can see this, but I have managed to get in between the layers. I really couldn't get under from the corners and get it peeled off when I tried to do this before. Now that's sticky. It's cured, but it's sticky. It's still not. It's not properly fully cured. I'm just going to pop this in though. Press it down, making sure I've got no bubbles, and then I'm just going to put this resin on the top, and then we'll cure it up fully, we'll get it out, and we'll have a look at it, and we'll attach it to a keyring. Nice and easy. Now the stickers, I can't remember whether they were Temu or Amazon. Honestly, I've ordered so much stuff lately, can't remember where most of it's come from. So yeah, me and our delivery men are all on first name terms, but I will find you all the links. Now I'm going to try and fill this. This is going to be quite now this is a bit of a tester here for this resin. I'm going to fill this quite well up pretty much dome it in one go. Now I always think that UV resin, you should do it in layers. I have had UV resin do a horrible sort of volcanic effect flash cure once. But let's just see how this particular one behaves. If it all goes horribly wrong, it is because I'm not really using it how it should be. It's not a reflection on the resin, let's just say. However, if it does work, it's a big brownie point for the resin. Now that has debubbled fantastically. There weren't many bubbles to start with. So let me just check that I've got you properly in shot. Yeah, you are. So I'm going to put this over it. Now what I'm going to do is double cure it. Even though it's got the mirror under it, I'm going to give it an extra click, probably lift the little mould up and plonk it up. Yeah, put my light upside down like that, plonk the mould on top of it, making sure it is really, really thoroughly cured, because a couple of times recently I've peaked too soon and it's whatever I've put in hasn't cured. Right, to give that another zap, I'm just going to off camera try and get the back off this one. As you can see, it's a little rose, and we'll find a mould that will fit in. I'll do it that way around. Pick a flower and then pick the mould. So I'll be back with you in a moment. Okay, I've managed to get that mostly off, so I'm just going to leave my knife in it. Be blooming careful with these knives, folks, they are sharp. Be careful, more careful than me. I am a bit of a clumsy mutt sometimes. Right, I'm just going to have a look, and I think I've got, oh, those would make nice key rings, wouldn't they? Octagons. Again, these have got some sort of pattern in them, or is that on the back? It's on the back. Okay, so the inside is smooth. Fair enough. Right, that's had a double cure, so let's just give it a quick ping from the back as well, just in case. I'll just point this away from the camera a little bit so that I'm not blinding you, but that's what I mean by doing the back as well. So whilst because this is clear resin, the light should have gone all the way through it, the mirror will have helped, but I just give it that extra little push. Right, that's nice. That is very nice. It's also extremely hot. So that's why it's sticking to my mirror. That's lovely. Now it is still slightly bendy, and I can see, because I've perhaps demolded it while it was still just slightly bendy, I've got a little bit of a pull effect around the sides. Can you see this? So I've got a little bit of a pull effect here, but that's me using the resin too thick, demolding it too soon, but all the same, what a nice result. Here's the octagons. So same again, only this time I will do the resin in thinner layers like you're supposed to. Base layer needs to be a reasonable thickness, because otherwise it will separate away from the mould. So let's just drop that in. Again, push it to the sides, push it all around, make sure it's got a good coverage. I'll get my lighter on it, pop those few little bubbles that I somehow managed to introduce. Lovely. That looks nice and clear to me. So light. Still not too worried about whether I fully cure this layer, because it's, you know, I'm going on top of it. But this is so pretty. Isn't that dainty looking? And I'm going to just try to, I might do this with the end of my knife actually. Just lower this into a nice position here. And I've got a little bit, it's going to be up the side there, and the same here, but rather than cut it off, I'm just going to take my knife and cut like a fold, a sharp fold into it, so it can stay there, it can go up the side, that's fine, because it's going to be sealed everywhere else, so yeah, why not. Right, I'm going to let that cool. I'm going to leave it for a couple of minutes because that is red hot, and I've promised myself this time I'm going to let everything cure properly, because after all I am testing this resin. I really shouldn't compromise how it's supposed to work while I'm messing about to see what it can take. Really, should I? So I'm going to just let that cool off. Okay, that's cooling quite nicely now. So we're going to put, this time I'm going with thin layers, remember? So we'll go in on top of that with just a nice thin layer of the resin. And then what I'll do is, if it needs doming off afterwards, I shall dome it off afterwards. This stuff does self-level to a great extent, so there shouldn't be too much for us to do. And I found one of my rubber tip brushes in the meantime, so I'm going to use that instead of my stirrer. Just making sure it gets into all the corners, all the way around the sides. And there's no, this time I'm going to make sure there's no bubbles at all. Got to end up with at least one perfect one after you've been experimenting, haven't you? Okay, just giving this a double cure now, just to make absolutely sure, and we will flip it over and do the other side as well. So remember, these are just stickers. Now you can get them in rolls that are fancier than these, to be honest, from the washi shop. If you'd like to get some of the tape versions of these from the washi shop, so they're much higher quality than these, then Claire's Crafty Corner, if you go and have a look at her channel, she's actually got a discount code for them. I say these are cheapy ones, but they do the job. That should be enough, shouldn't it? That's been treble zapped now. So let's get him out of the mould. Lovely, lovely and clear. Now what I am going to do is just give that a dome. Now that might mean I end up filling in that hole at the top by accident. It doesn't matter. If I do, I shall just drill it. I really need to change this mat because it's driving me crazy. Now some people, when they're doming, will start in the middle and work out. I've noticed recently there's a few people trying it on their videos the way I do it. I don't know why I started doing it like this, whether I saw somebody else do it or what, I'm not entirely sure. But I just find it easier to start from the outside and work in, because then I can just very carefully make sure I've got right up to the edges before I even start going into the centre. So there we are. Fill up the middle. Try not to put so much that it overfills and runs down the sides. And we'll get the lamp back on it. I'll do the same with the back. And then I think I'm going to fit this onto a key ring, so I'll get the gubbins together while that's curing to fit it onto a key ring. Okay, so while this is curing up, I'm going to do the other side as well, but just while it's curing up, I'll just show you the key ring fittings I've got. This is a big bag of ones that didn't cost me very much, again from I think Amazon or eBay or something, I don't know. I'll find you the link, of course. And but if you want to look for some different ones, all you search for is key rings in sort of DIY kit and jewellery making, that sort of thing. So we're twisting the, did you see that? We're taking the jump ring. It's probably easy to see if I use pliers. There's a jump ring on the end of it, and you don't pull it apart, you twist like so, because then when you twist it back together, you don't lose that nice round shape. So that's all we're doing, we're just twisting. Anyway, let's have a look how this is coming on. Looking pretty darn good, I think. I think that's rather lovely. Is this all still slightly sticky, so I'll give it a few more minutes under the UV and we'll be back for another go. Right, while that one's getting on with curing, I'll just show you how I'm going to put this first one onto that key ring. And just pushed it through the hole. I didn't need to re-drill the link on the hole through this. I somehow hadn't actually filled up the hole, and as you can see, we just twist and it's back in place. There we go, we have a pretty key ring. Now I'm just going to find my little drill And we'll make a hole to put the chain through, because I have definitely filled the hole up. Yeah, I've filled the hole up. So here we go. And again, watch your fingers with this. These moulds, as you saw, do have the little bung thing that will create that hole for you. But if you're going to end up doming over them, you do very often end up with resin in the hole, and you're back where you started and you've got to drill a hole. But at least you know where it's supposed to go, so that's no bad thing. This one I've made quite thick, and so the ring doesn't want to go all the way through. So I am actually ending up bending it, which isn't really very helpful. So I think what I'll do instead is get a proper bail to put on this one. Now, a bail is just a jewellery clasp to fix things onto your chains. So we're going to try that instead. And all we do with these, this is a pinch bail, either side, through the hole, doink, job's done. And then I will try to get this ring back into shape. If not, I can just replace the ring, of course. But this is why you twist rather than, can you see that's all out of shape? I'm going to give up on that one. Thing is, jump rings are so cheap. I've got a big bag full of them here. Just replace it. And actually these ones I can bend with my thumb. This is how I wreck my nails though, so there you go. And then that's fixed on that way. There's lots of different ways you can fix them, but just jewellery findings basically. So there we go. There's another key ring. So if you've liked this video, found it useful at all, please give me a thumbs up, because that really helps YouTube to know that I'm on the right tracks and push my videos out to you. And it also tells me that I'm doing the sort of things you like seeing. So thank you very much for that. And also thank you so much to those choosing to subscribe if you haven't already. The links are down below at the bottom. Thanks again, and I'll see you for the next video. Oh, and yeah, before I go, thanks for sending me the stuff to play with, the Just For You online team. Really much appreciated. Loving your products. Thanks then. Bye.